Well, good afternoon. I have to apologise. I cannot make my new microphones work, so forgive me. One more little clip with no microphones, but I have them. They are charged, but I plug them into my phone and nothing happens. So I will speak to my child and do it. But I thought I'd make this clip because otherwise time is getting away with me and it'll be too late and you might enjoy this clip. So it is the 2nd of February and in the Flower Farmer's year, I'm still holding my breath. I'm not going mad yet. Yesterday was this lovely festival, Imbolc, the Feast of St. Bridget, and it marks the space between midwinter and the spring equinox. And so while we're not spring, we are kind of feeling the beginning of the return of the light, which I think is very attractive and I'm enjoying it. So on I go with my preparations for this year as a flower farmer and flower grower, slightly obsessive. I was an obsessive flower grower, so I turned it into a business. Now I'm a flower farmer, but I'm still a gardener at heart. Anyway, what have I done? Since we last spoke, I have gone through my seed concertina and I have got rid of anything that was really very out of date. Obviously I haven't got rid of it all. There's still quite a lot in there. And I have ordered some seeds. So here are some exciting packages from, these are Higgledy Garden. If you're in the UK, I really highly recommend Benjamin Ranyard from Higgledy. And these are from Chiltern Seeds, who have some lovely and interesting varieties. I have got seed sowing workshops coming up where I go through the sort of minutiae of it. But in the short term, I thought we'd do seeds here. I am going to open these up. And the first thing I'm going to do, other than get excited, is write the date, the year on all of these packets of seed. So give me a minute and I'll come back to you in a minute. I don't think you want to sit there watching me write 2022 onto 50 packets of seeds. So I'll see you in a minute. So now they've all got dates on them. They've all got the year. And I am going to go and lay them out and plan my sowing. And as you can see, I have ordered too many packets of seeds. I am wasting my money. Don't be like me. I think there's a real thing about this time of year that makes you tidy up. Would you look at the general tidiness of this studio? We had a real rave up in here on Monday. And I didn't know, I hadn't taken in that it was this particular day when it's halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. But now I know that, thank you Twitter, I'm not surprised we had a big tidy up and we're ready to go for the year. And this great big table, Fabrizio made it out of oak and some old, the legs are made of, I'll show you, the legs are made of old table legs that we found in a reclamation yard. We think they were a billiard table legs. And you can see underneath the table is where I keep a lot of pots and bits and pieces for my gardening life, my flower farming life. But today the table is going to be used to basically lay out the season. So here we have the seeds and I'm going to put them into piles for sowing. And I know which are going to be direct sown. I know which are going to be tray sown. I know which take a little bit longer to germinate or get going. I know which I'm going to use as catch crops later on. So this is larkspur and it's going to be direct sown at the end of March, beginning of April. And there are plenty of them. Vaccaria hispanica, a great favourite of mine. I'm going to tray sow some of this earlier. I'm going to direct sow these poppies with the larkspur, but the monarda could do with a little bit earlier. Zinnias, April, April. Anyway, scabious likes a little bit of bottom heat in my experience. So the scabious is going in there. Helichrysum, I'm going to start them in trays, but not until then, and so on. I'm going to turn you off because you'll be bored. I'll show you when I've finished. So, I've gone through everything. I've got about 20 varieties for each sowing. February the 15th coming up. End of March, beginning of April. And this will be end of April, possibly beginning of May. These are all the tender annuals. These are all hardy. These are all hardy. And then here are for my next crop of sweet peas, and I've got 11 varieties there, and a couple of white ones that I'll do more of. They will take 3 trays, root trainers. So I need to know the space, you see. Those are going to take 3 trays of root trainers. Each of these will take about, so I'll be sowing 20 trays at a time. And when I say a tray, here are the root trainers. This is obviously going to full up, but that's a root trainer for sweet peas. And normal tray is this big, sort of A4 size. And so now, having chosen what I'm going to sow, I'm going to go outside and make sure I've got the space. And then I'm going to really think about, I'm going to edit this down because I'm really not sowing 60 different varieties of annuals to flower in the year. It's too many. I'm a flower farmer. That's too many. I haven't got the space. So I'm going to go out there and have a little look. And then when I've finished, I'm going to wash all these trays so they're all clean and there are no slug eggs or mold or anything. And then I'm going to order up compost because it's really worth sowing seed, fresh, expensive seed like this, into fresh compost. And so I'm going to order some Silver Grove from my neighbours at Plant World, just outside Gillingham in Dorset. Right, on we go. Do you want to come and see me measure my fields a bit? Come on then. So here's part of the field. Now, if I want to sow 60 varieties of different flowers, each variety is going to give me about 30 plants. I put ballpark 30 plants into a square metre. So if I'm going to have 60, I need 60 square metres of running metre wide bed. So I'm now going to measure the space, but I've got to remember, I've got to get my dahlias in here as well. This is not the only space I've got, but it's the one that's useful for filming. So this is the bit you're going to see. Right, off I go. I'm going to start, you're not going to be able to hear me, but I've got to start up there where there's some space. So I'm going to turn it off, but I measure like this. Oh, come on, I'll take you with me. Honestly, I'm hopeless. So look, here I am at the end of the wallflowers, and this is how I measure. A long 1, long 2, long 3, long 4. That's how I measure my space, with long strides. And that, once I've measured it, I'll know if I've got 60 metres. So I'll see you in a minute. So I've done my hilarious gallop up and down with my long strides, and I have 58 square metres for annuals and 70 for my dahlias. So I'm a little bit short for my annuals and I'm a little bit short for my dahlias, but we'll squeeze them all in. I think we'll be all right. It's always worth knowing the length of your stride, because then you can measure space in your garden quickly. There you go, something you didn't know. Right, I'm not sowing yet. Do join me for my seed sowing workshops coming up. I've got a demo for seed sowing, a general one, and a sweet pea sowing demos. They're both demos, so they'll be on a Friday. Check the website and you can book a place. If you found any of the tips and tricks here useful, then do buy me a coffee. The link is in the blurb. Obviously coffees don't they're not real coffees, but it's like just a nice way of supporting these clips. I've got a workshop online at 5 o'clock this afternoon, in which I'm going to be talking about about living the dream, how to make a lifestyle business work for you, not you for it. So I've got an hour or so to go. So guess what I'm going to do? I spy. It is not an especially cold winter here, and so I'm going to whip through my beds and take out the groundsel seedlings, some of which are trying to flower, the silly nanas. Anyway, I can spot groundsel at 100 metres, and that is why I'm a good flower farmer. It's all about the weeding. Right, I'll see you later. Bye.